Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about general ledger account categories. Some of the customers, they're very confused about the differences between the general ledger account categories and the begin totals and end totals in the chart of account because they thought like each begin total and end total may have relevant general ledger account categories and subcategories. So they thought we need to define either a general ledger account category or a general ledger account subcategory for each begin total and end total in the chart of account. Sometimes they're asking if we need to create a general ledger account categories for each general ledger account. So some people are very confused about how this general ledger account categories are used for, what is used for, and what's the difference between it and the chart of account. Originally in Dynamics NAV, there's no subcategories. So if I just collapse all the tabs here and only see these categories, and these categories are the 6 system general ledger account categories by default. That's the system account categories. So since Dynamics NAV 2017, Microsoft added, if I expand these categories, then you can see the subcategories. Under these subcategories, you can add multiple levels of the subcategories as well. So what's the purpose for these account categories and the account subcategories? So these general ledger account categories and subcategories are just to give you an overview of what you want to show on the financial report. So you can see in this view, I can see very clearly like what's the total for my assets and what's the total for my liabilities and equity, income, cost of goods sold, expense. And if I expand these tabs, and I can see the detailed numbers for them as well. Okay, so these are very useful, like for the finance people to have overview of their chart of account. And another reason to set up this GL account category and subcategory is like if you are just planning to migrate from another system to Dynamics NAV or Business Central, or you start from scratch, you need to design your structure of your chart of account. So it's better like you design in these multiple level GL account categories and subcategory structure. So then you do not miss any account GL account number. So if you have anything not defined, then I'm gonna drag this, so you can see on the right hand side. So I have this. I'm gonna make this bigger so you can see it clearly. So you can see at the bottom, this pane shows you the general ledger accounts without the category. So to make sure, so if you can check to see if there's nothing left from here, then you can make sure like all the general ledger account got a category or subcategory assigned. In that way, you don't miss any GL account when you design your chart of account. Then everything will be balanced. You don't have anything left imbalanced. You don't have anything without a category. Okay, so that's another reason is for the planning of the number series in your chart of account and the structure of design to design the structure of your chart of account. And also there are many other reasons, and also a very important reason is like in this way, because you are not left over any general ledger account. For example, if you added a new general ledger account and then you check this general ledger accounts categories, you found there you haven't added that, then it will be noticed like if it says that new general ledger account you added to our chart of account is without a category. And so when you create some financial report in Dynamics NAV or Business Central, it's called account schedule. You can see it from the ribbon here. Okay, so that's added this list. If we added this general ledger account category list, then you can create, you see you have an option to generate account schedules from here. So if you are not in the edit mode, then this option will be grayed out. When you add a list, this option will be available for you to select. But sometimes you're thinking, oh, I click on this, what happened? There's nothing happened. It seems like nothing happened, it just flashes and it didn't tell you it generates something, okay? And if you go to your account schedule, so these are by default, so I'm gonna delete these last two because I'm doing some testing for those, and I will show you as example when I go to that part, okay? So these ones are by default of the Cronus demo database. You have all these account schedules, which is the demo account schedules. So account schedules is the financial report, like you use this to design your financial reports for income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement, etc., etc. So if I go to edit my account schedule, for example, income statement, then I can see how it looks like, right? I can see this is the structure of my income statement. So all these rows, they're composed with the general ledger account. You give it a range, then you have these subcategories, or you can specify individual general ledger account. So if you insert a new general ledger account, if it's not in a subcategory, it's very there's a big chance like you have to manually modify this financial report again, this income statement again, to include that general ledger account, the new general ledger account. Or if you delete a general ledger account from your chart of account, if you do not use the categories, the general ledger account categories and subcategories, then you may end up to have a gap in your financial report because that's an individual general ledger account. But using the categories and subcategories is kind of you are using an automatic range. Even you do not do these numberings, you do not say from this dot dot to this account, which means a range. Even you do not say this, but as long as you defined that structure of account categories and account subcategories, and you assigned those general ledger account to those subcategories or categories, then you are good. So no matter you insert a new general ledger account or you delete a new general ledger account, that dynamic range for the subcategories will be changed. So then your financial report will be good. So you do not need to use all these totalings to define it, as long as you have the correct structure and you have all the account assigned for that structure. So that structure we mean is what I showed you guys earlier for this general ledger account categories. So on the right hand side, you have this pane. So for example, I remove something from the fixed asset. I can go to edit list and I can completely remove all this range, number range, okay? I remove it, but I just leave this structure. These two are indented under my fixed assets. Then as long as you assign those general ledger account, then if you created your account schedule from this general ledger account categories, then you are good to go, because you do not need to define the range anymore. It's a dynamic based on your categories. Your account schedule will be changed dynamically as well. Okay, so now I deleted everything. I just leave it as a account category and subcategories. Then you can see if I do not assign this, and then it will tell me there's a general ledger account without a category. So I have to make sure like I have those this range assigned in this subcategory. So in this case, I have to assign these GL accounts to these subcategories. And to assign them, I can use like individual GL accounts, assign one by one, or I can assign the range. But during your assignment, you may find like these subcategories is not enough. You may want to create some more categories. Then you can put all the GL account in. So that's a good exercise for you. For example, I only have accumulated depreciation and equipment. But when I look at the GL accounts not assigned, I also have something like an increase during the year. Then I may want to create another subcategory saying like increases during the year, because you could see there are many of the increases during the year, but some of them is under the vehicles and some of them is under the other equipment. So it just based on like how you want to structure your subcategories and the general ledger account. So you can recategorize them, reclassify those general ledger account from here. Okay, so you can say, so this is the accumulated depreciation, and you have equipment and you have other equipment. So you can, based on the vehicles, for the vehicles you have the increase, decrease, you have accumulated depreciation, and for the other for the operating equipment you have the increase, decrease, and accumulated depreciation as well. So you may want to give a category like vehicle, or you want to give a category like operating equipment, and then buildings. You want to categorize that way. Or you may want to categorize them like increase during the year, or decrease during the year, or accumulated depreciation, all these three categories. So it's just up to you how you want to see the high level summary, and on your financial report how you want to see them. So then you can put them one by one here. Like I have the accumulated depreciation, but now I have a few accounts related to the accumulated depreciation. So now I can put in 16300, and then I can put in the 17200, and I can put in the 18200. There are 17200, 18200. You can categorize them this way, right? And then you can put the rest into the other subcategories. So this is a good exercise for you to see how you want to structure your chart of account. So that's another reason we would like to use this general ledger account categories and subcategories. And which is a fun part of this is like after you have done this, and you can automate the creation of your financial report, because this general ledger account category itself is like a financial report. It gives you a high-level overview of your asset, liabilities, equity, income, cost of goods sold, and expense. And if you expand them, then you can see the details for the lower level of your chart of account for the subcategories, the total number for the subcategories as well. So this is itself is like a financial report. So we can create the financial report like your balance sheet and income statement from here. So the exercise I did previously, I click on this and there's nothing happens. Seems to be nothing happens. So what happened behind the scene is like when you do the generate account schedules, so in Dynamics NAV or Business Central, you have to do a setup in the general ledger setup. So under the reporting tab, you have these reports. You have the account schedule for balance sheet, account schedule for income statement, account schedule for cash flow statement, account schedule for retained earnings. So these are the system generated one. So by default, it's using those demo account schedule, but you can change it to something else. So for example, for this income statement, I want to create a new one and then give it a name like test income statement. Okay, so this is it's already exist. Where's that already exist? Oh, I already have something there. So I already did some testing there. So I'm gonna delete these, and then so another thing, if you watch this video, you see I deleted them before, but why they're still here? The reason is like if you assign them to the account schedule to these four system generated reports, then even when you delete them, they will come back. So, but now I didn't put them on anymore, so I can delete them, then they will be gone. Okay, so I can delete this one, and I can delete this one. Okay, so after I delete them, then I can come back, then you will see they will not come back anymore. So, but if you put them on these system reports, then after you delete, they will come back. So now I want to select my income statement. So I will go back. So this is revenue. My income statement, I want to select the new one I just created. So I'm gonna create a new one because I didn't create that new one yet. I'm gonna create a new one, say test in, and this is the test income statement. And if I just created this and I go to edit account schedule, you could see this is blank. And if I put this under the account schedule for income statement, this is a system report now. And then now if I go to edit the list from my general ledger account categories and click on generate account schedules, it still seems like nothing happens. But behind the scene, if you go to your account schedules and click on test income statement, edit account schedules, now you will see it generated this account schedule based on what you set up in that account categories. So let's compare this with what we have in the general ledger account categories. Then you can see it's everything under the income. So let's collapse this. Then we just only look at this income because this income is the one we generated for that income statement. So if we compare this report with this, you could see like they are exactly the same, right? So it's just use what you set up from the general ledger account categories to populate your account schedule. So that's a quick way for you. That's another benefit to use the general ledger account categories and subcategories, because you can generate an account schedule with the structure, and you can automate the generation of your account schedule. So another thing, some people ask what this additional report definition is for. So you have these different options. You have 6 options: operating activities, investing activities, financing activities, cash accounts, retained earnings, distribution to shareholders. What are these for? So these are used in different places. So there's a very good tip you can use. So you can search from this website and you search this field for additional report definition. Then you can see where this field is used, where used. So it's used in that general ledger account category for sure. And also it's used in the cash flow statement. It's used in the cash flow activity part, which means in the row center, you have a visual, you have a chart, which use that field. And so it tells you that first go to a cash flow statement to see if we have anything that's operating or cash accounts, something like this. Okay, so that's search cash flow statement. Then I go to your cash flow statement. I just run with this time range. This is the demo company, so I have to use the future date. Let's give it a preview. Then you can see it's using the it has the investing activities, financing activities, all these, right? So these are coming from that setup, what you set up on the general ledger account categories. That's using those. So remember, we have here, we are using the investing activities here, and we have those investing activities, and we have the in this report. Let's take a look again. So let's come back to, oh, I have so many windows open. Did I just close that report? Let's go back to cash flow statement. Let's take a look at this report again. So we have, so now I'm gonna compare this with what we have there. So we have the operating activities you see here, and we have the investing activities and the financing activities. So it's there, and we have no, not that screen. Here we have the operating activity, investing, financing activities. So these are what shows up on that cash flow statement. So that's one of the places you can see it. And you also, I said in the row center, you see that. And it tells you, you also can see this and on the retained earnings statement. So if you search retained earnings statement, you can see that as well. There's a report called the retained earnings. Let's check that report. So if you run this report preview, then you can see it has the distribution to shareholders. So this is from that additional report definition as well. So you can see in this report, we have that option. Just too many windows open, need to find this. So we have the distribution to shareholders and the retained earnings, you have those. So that's what you can see on that report, retained earnings report. This is the cash statement report, cash flow statement report, the first one I showed. And that retained earnings, I closed the retained earnings. Okay, so let's compare this again. So you can see on this report, we have the retained earnings, this, and we have the distribution to shareholders. We have this, okay? And but this distribution to shareholders does not have any number right now in this, but this retained earnings period start has a number, a net change. Okay, so those are coming from the additional report definitions. You can continue to see what any other fields, areas like this additional report definition is used. So it's very useful to have this as well. And so just to summarize, there's many benefits for using the general ledger account categories and subcategories. You can quickly create a account schedule from this general ledger account category, and you can use this to plan your chart of account structure and design the subcategories, the categories for your chart of account, and to make sure there's no general ledger accounts unassigned. Then you can ensure your income statement and balance sheet, the whole chart of account is balanced. So if also for the maintenance of your chart of account, if you use the categories and subcategories, then you can, even you don't use the range, as long as you have this indented under the category, then even you insert a new general ledger account or you remove a general ledger account, then the category number, the number in the category will be dynamically changed. So you do not need to manually maintain your those numbers in your account schedule. So there are so many benefits of this. That's why I think this is a good feature for Dynamics NAV and Business Central. Okay, thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. I hope to see you guys again next time.